Greetings. In this episode, I would like to share with you how your forgiveness needs show up. Often we like to think we are totally in control of our lives, that we have no wounds and everything is good. Well, today I would like to share with you how that may not be the case. For example, are there people in your lives where you can barely be in the room for more than 10 minutes? Could be their cologne, their perfume, their sight, their tone. It sets you off, and you cannot be in their presence. You have to get out of there. If that's the case, forgiveness needs to be in your bucket. The mere mention of a person's name or an item that's connected to them sets you off. For example, this is what happened to me on one of my meetings in my writers group. We had been asked to bring something that would reflect who we are or that had a connection to us. Well, the night before the meeting, I scurried around the house. Do I bring the petty needlepoint stocking that I had made? Do I bring my mom's vest that she had made? Do I bring a pin that was connected to the cycling club my dad belonged to? I went back and forth. Finally, I settled on my mom's vest. So I'm at the meeting. The other women were sharing. Everything is going fine. And then I raised my hand to speak and share why I had brought my mom's vest. I think it was maybe no more than 2 to 3 sentences. I began bawling. I mean, bawling. It wasn't like a stream of tears going down my face. No. I was bawling. And when I was leaving, I thought, what was that up about? I mean, I made such a fool of myself. What was it about? Well, that clearly indicated I had a wound. And the wound was deep, very deep. So if you had a situation like that, forgiveness needs to be in your bucket. If you find yourself replaying whenever you have experiences that brings up lack of respect, feeling abandoned, and you're replaying all of those tapes, forgiveness needs to be in your bucket. If you find yourself blaming others for how you feel, you're using those second and third person pronouns. You, when they're in your presence, he, she, or they, when they're not in your presence, forgiveness needs to be in your bucket. Because blaming does not eliminate your emotions. They are still there and they're going to be getting stronger. Remember, the blame game has no winners, only losers. If you find yourself yelling, forgiveness needs to be in your bucket. Because you see, if you are calm and centered, you don't blame others for how you feel. You don't do that because you've done your forgiveness work. You don't ever, and I mean ever, put negative labels onto another person. Labels like, you will never amount to anything. Why did I have you? You are such a disappointment to me. If you are doing that, forgiveness needs to be in your bucket. Now, I don't know about you, but did you ever know or hear of the concept that it's important that you take responsibility for your emotions? I never heard anything about that concept until I was in therapy. I've always heard We have to take responsibility for our actions, yes, but never emotions. And it's when you take responsibility for your emotions that the first person pronouns comes into play. I, my, and me. You see, when I was in therapy, Janet would say to me all the time, look, Julia, every time you are fussing over something Joe did or did not do, it's not about him, kiddo. Not by a long shot. It's all about you. And I would resist. I would rebel. And I would say, oh, no, 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 no. That is so not true. No, 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 no. And I would rattle off examples of everything that I thought Joe was or was not doing. But she held firm. Sorry, Julia. No one's making you angry or upset but you. All Joe is doing by his words, his actions, his dress, the tone of his voice, he is duplicating exactly what you experienced in your childhood that established and created your hurt by his words. And see, I would say most of our sessions, I would say 80% were one-on-one. So I don't know if forgiveness was talked about with Joe, but if she had said to Joe, look, every time you are fussing over something Julia did or did not do, it's not about Julia, buddy. It's all about you. And I'm reasonably certain Joe would have rebelled just like I did. Oh, no, 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 no. And he would rattle off examples of what I did or did not do. He would be doing the same thing. And another truism that Janet said was this, Julia, when you are ready to embrace this concept, wrap your arms around it, own it, you will get it, but not a millisecond before. Now, if you're hearing this concept for the first time, that only you are responsible for your emotions, you cannot blame or accuse someone else for how you feel, and you are rebelling, I get it. I totally get it. It took me 5 years before I understood how the concept worked. I was in a writer's group, the same one, and the writer's group made up of 2 divorced women, 2 women who were gay, a single woman, and a married woman. So we had a cross section. And one of the women, the woman who was single, was a professor, and she was going to be going on sabbatical back to her native country, India. And so I had suggested at the previous meeting that we all bring pictures of ourselves so that way, when she was in India, she would have a reminder of the women in her writers group. So we're at the meeting and we're passing around the pictures. And I'm surreptitiously looking at the picture of Connie, who was the hostess, and back at Connie, the picture, back at Connie. And I finally said, Connie, I'm waving the picture. You know, the way you are wearing your hair in this picture, oh my gosh, it is so you. I mean, you have so much personality, so much vibe. I mean, you're always in the know of when the next writers group is coming up. I mean, you are sensational. You're amazing. But regretfully, you know, the way you're wearing your hair now, it doesn't bring out that personality. I mean, it makes you look frumpy. Well, I'm here to tell you, as soon as those words came out, I thought, oh boy, that was a major faux pas. And as I'm trying, because obviously it was a poor way to phrase it. I mean, I clearly open mouth, inserted foot. I mean, it was not the best language. And so, as I'm backpedaling, Greta is sitting next to me. Now, Connie has direct eyesight to Greta. And as I'm talking, and I'm digging myself deeper into the hole, Greta apparently was getting more agitated and furious, to the point she bolted out of Connie's home. Connie went out immediately to talk with Greta to see what was going on. All Connie said when she came back into her home was this: Greta simply needed her space. On the way home from the meeting, now I was still in recovery, but I was always reflecting. And I thought that was truly interesting. Same words, but two completely different responses. The other four women, including Connie, responded to what I said. But Greta reacted vehemently to what I said. And that's when I got it. Clearly, something in my dress, something in the tone of my voice, something in what I said triggered a wound in Greta that had never been healed at the emotional level. I was not the one who got her upset, not by a long shot. That was all on Greta, totally on Greta. Now, in my book, I shared a letter that she sent me following the meeting, and it went like this: "You effing bitch. You talk about no longer being bludgeoned to death with verbal abuse. You verbally abused Connie. Where do you get off saying she looks frumpy? You bitch. You sit there in your prissy-ass clothes, everything matching, pearls, and your Louis Vuitton bag. If I hadn't been polite and restrained, I would have decked you right there on the spot. Walk your talk, you abusing a-hole." Was Greta angry? Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was angry. And I did offer to meet with her, but she wanted no part of it. Nothing at all. Then a couple of years ago, I had a friend, and we have been friends, for years. And in the month of her birthday, I called her to say, if we could get together, that would be great because I have a little something for you. And I could tell by the inflection in her voice, it was like, oh, geez. I said, well, let me know when a date works for you. I never heard back. She promptly, however, sent me a photograph of all of her friends out on the boat celebrating her birthday. Now, who she wanted to invite into her birthday, that's fine. I mean, everyone can invite whoever they want. But she promptly deleted every text message we ever had. To this day, I have no idea what I said or did, but one thing I do know: I'm not the one who got this woman upset, not by a long shot. That's all on her, totally on her. Now, I want you to know that in the next episode, I am going to be talking about how forgiveness works. And I'm sharing the tool that Janet shared with me, and it's a tool that worked. And I'm basically sharing with you what has happened for me and the process that I've used that it now enables me to be calm and centered, to not worry, to not have anxiety. So in the next episode, I will be sharing how forgiveness works. And I'm here to tell you, with forgiveness in your bucket, and I sincerely hope when you are ready, you do the forgiveness work. It, honest to goodness, sets you free. It's a freedom that you can't even imagine how it feels until you've done it. But you're free to be creative. You're free. Oh gosh, I mean, you stop all of the negative talk. It's amazing. But that's going to be in the next episode. I'll share that. As you know, when I conclude an episode, I always want to remind you, you are awesome. You are the best. And no one, and I do mean no one, comes any finer than you. And that is the truth. So until we connect again, stay blessed.